In this video, I'm going to show you why I grew so frustrated with my WooCommerce store that I decided to go ahead and just bite the bullet, go to Shopify, and I'm not looking back. Basically, I wanted to start a new store, and I decided because, hey, I'm a software developer. I've been around WordPress for many, many years, been around WooCommerce for many years, dealt with all the bugs and all the other issues with all the plugins and whatnot. I felt comfortable. I felt comfortable. Anything came up, I would be able to take care of it. If that was 10 years ago, now, I'm at a point, I just want things just to work. And, but for the most part, I decided to give WooCommerce and WordPress a shot with getting my new store up and going. I knew that WordPress and WooCommerce was very flexible. I wouldn't have to worry about any kind of monthly costs. Scaling would be no issue. Too much, I can actually scale with my dedicated server and also infrastructure in the cloud. So didn't have many issues worried right there. But where I did run into issues, and if you've been around WordPress long enough, you've seen those critical errors, some of those things where it may be a bug conflict with a plugin or just something random that comes out of nowhere. I was getting that way too many times in the last couple of days, and I was just like, you know what, forget it. I'll get on there, uh, give Shopify a chance. I know that it's very intuitive. I've worked with them and helping other clients before to be able to get their shops up and going, helping them to customize the shops. And I knew that if I went to them, it would be a little vanilla, and also I'll probably lose some of the functionality with SEO stuff and everything like that. But I knew that, everything would be right where it needed to be. It'll be very intuitive. I don't have to worry about having to come back and check and see whether or not the site is not functioning after an update or anything like that. They're gonna, take care of all the updates and not have to deal with all the bugs. It's one of those things. As a software developer, I've been a software developer over 20 years, and it's kind of funny that you say that. But for the most part, um, you deal with bugs. It just comes along with the territory. But I'm at a point now where I just don't want to deal with that kind of thing. I don't want to have to go in there, especially when it deals with e-commerce. I don't want someone to get to checkout and then they can't check out because there's some kind of conflict with some kind of JavaScript or some kind of plugin conflict where they can't hit the checkout button and get paid. It's one of those things. Either you want to be in e-commerce and just focus on getting more people to your site and get focus on the sales versus having to be in, having to worry about this next update, having to make sure that you keep everything backed up. You know, I have everything handled with that from a WordPress standpoint, but do I really want to do that on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis? And I don't want to do that. I just want to keep it up and running, um, keep things going, and not have to worry about that. I want to be able to continue to source products that I feel that my audience will want to buy, and just focus on that when it comes to the e-commerce store. Of course, I'm still in the middle of other projects outside of e-commerce, and if it comes to a WordPress site that I'm working on, I'll just deal with I'll just deal with that, but not from an e-commerce store. I think it's very important that from an e-commerce store that you have yourself up and going, and when someone's ready to buy, they should be able to easily, quickly purchase and it not be a hassle. And that's just the way I came from it, from deciding on whether or not WooCommerce or Shopify. In the beginning, I was team WooCommerce. I was like, oh yeah, we're going WooCommerce. We're not going to pay all those monthly fees. We're not going to pay all the extra stuff. We're going to go ahead and get going. But it just took, not only the setup took too long, but in the middle of the setup, some of the bugs with some of the conflicts of some plugins that were necessary had to resolve those issues. And I was just like, let's not deal with that. Let's go with Shopify, go with some tried and true. And you know what? If it comes down to maybe Shopify not being what I want it to be, or as I scale, it comes to be way too expensive or it just doesn't work, maybe I'll come back over to WooCommerce. Maybe some of the things will actually fix. And I'm not blaming WooCommerce fully. I'm not blaming them. They're a very, very good platform for e-commerce. But you got WooCommerce, which is a plugin that goes into WordPress, which has other plugins that you need to be able to have set up in order for WordPress to function. and to have these things as e-commerce stores to function correctly. So um, so it's not the blame for necessarily WooCommerce, but WooCommerce happens to be the plugin that's necessary to be able to run your e-commerce store on WordPress. So let me know what you think in the comments. I know there are going to be some people that feel that WooCommerce is much better, and I know there's going to be other people that Shopify. But for me and for where I am, I just feel that Shopify is going to give me what I need, and I won't have to worry about focusing on, hey, whether this site is going to be up after this next update or just focus on the sales. That's what I want. I want the sales. All right.